what's up YouTube? Today we are working on a 2001 Buick Lesabre. This is the custom 3.8 Series 2 engine that is in it, the V6. And what we are doing today is quick struts. Basically what quick struts are is the spring, the mount, and the bearing and the strut cartridge all pre-assembled and put together for you. It's a lot less dangerous and a lot easier to do, especially for the DIYers that don't have the machine or the compression tool to compress the spring to put one together and build it at home. So you can buy the whole assembly pre-built. I went with a blowout deal that they had on the Rock Auto. I got some Monroe quick struts. I'm not a huge fan of Monroe products. Unfortunately, they seem to have a lot of issues. However, this car is a higher mileage vehicle and doesn't have too many more years left in it. So right now we're just going to do these to get by, and they're pretty much shot. The bearings make a whole bunch of noise, and they've been on here for about 90,000 miles, and they were already generic ones that are on here anyway. So without further ado, we're going to get started. This is already jacked up. I have it supported safely with jacked stands, and we're just going to start ripping into this. You can do this with basic hand tools, but I have some air tools, which is just going to speed up the process. So when you go to take off the wheel, sometimes it's easier to do it with some of the weight still on the ground, in the event that you don't have air tools like I do. But because I do, I'm just going to go ahead and roll with it. So the first thing on this particular vehicle has a wheel, but I have to take out this little center cap, which can be easily done with just a flathead screwdriver or a small pry bar. Set that aside. These are going to be 19mm lug nuts on here, so I got my 19mm socket, got my air ratchet here put together. Having trouble with this air tool with recently getting, I got to look at the end of it here. It's been being weird. There we go. Okay, we'll go ahead and crack these up. A little bit of a noise alert. Put my lug nuts in my magnetic dish, move my air tool aside, take the wheel, move it over. If you choose to, you can put it under the vehicle for an extra support in case it falls. So to do these quick struts, bring you in here a little closer for a closer observation here. So we're going to have this, this is the knuckle right here, or spindle, or whatever you'd like to call it. We're going to have to take out these two fasteners here. There's one here, and then there's one here. This one here just simply holds the bracket for the ABS wire. This one here holds the bracket, holds the brake hose. These are 10mm. They should zip right out unless they're rusty, and then you might have to spray them down with some penetrating oil. We're also going to take out these bolts here. This side here has kind of like I don't know if you want to call it a flange, or it has an end on it that is designed to stay in there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to loosen these up. I believe they're 24mm, and then we'll be able to tap these through from there. Up top, when you go up top and look, let me get up here and show you what you're going to see up here. You're going to have, I believe these are 13mm. I'll let you know for sure. There's this little weathering strip here. There's one right in there. Hopefully you can see that right there. And then there's this one here, this one there. And these are the alignment dowels for whenever you're putting it up in there. So we'll move that because we'll keep that for the new one. Those will come out, but I don't do those until I loosen everything down here. Now, some say you should take a 32mm and loosen the axle nut so you're not pulling, because when you go to pull this, it's going to fall this way when you disconnect all this, which can put some stress on the CV axle, potentially rip the boots or even ruin the joint. So you want to be careful with your axle. I've been able to do this without. I just don't pull it that far, and I just keep an eye on it because you don't want to go too far and ruin the CV joint. So I'm going to pause you and then get you in here and we'll get started. Okay, hopefully you guys can see something here. Maybe tilt it down a little more there. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my 24mm. Let's see if I'm correct. Yes, and I am. Put my air tool on that. Loosen these so you can have a noise alert here. You want to go what I do is I like to loosen it until it's flush with the end here. because that way we can hit it with the hammer to knock it through and not worry about messing up the threads on it. Alright, perfect. We're going to switch over to the 10 for a minute. Hopefully, I think that's what they were. I was going to film, but I didn't, just because it would have been really a pretty long video. I did timing chain cover, intake upper and lower gaskets on this, but I didn't because it was just too much. So this is a 10, and I just broke that one off, which isn't a big deal. I can just find a replacement because this, we're going into a new strut anyway. So let's see if this one will come out without breaking. That one came out, so I can just find a replacement bolt for that. I have some in the garage. So all right, that's aside, that's off. So now I'm going to get a hammer. I'm just going to go ahead and unhook all this and try to get it out of the way so it doesn't get in the way of the hammer. Beat that through. Okay. So that should be good enough. I should be able to go ahead and take these nuts off, put them aside because you're going to need to reuse those. Whee! There goes that one. All right, so that's what these guys look like. Keep in mind, it's a good idea to get an alignment when you're done with all this. All right, so that loosens that up. So that should, in theory, allow me to pull this out of here. Like I said, you just don't want to kind of make sure you don't put too much pressure on that axle there. These axles look like they're shot. Add that to the list. Okay, so now that that's loose, I'm going to disconnect this too. This is just the ABS sensor. Just let it hang and get my fingers in there. There we go. That's the way it's not got any pressure on it. So that's good. That's good. So it's just kind of hanging there like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and stop you here and take you up top and show you the top side. Okay, so we're back up top now. So this is kind of something you have to make sure you have some pretty decent upper body strength for, because these struts can be a little heavy. They're not ridiculous, but they can be a little heavy. I want to say those are 13s, if memory serves me correctly. 13 millimeter. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, they're actually 15s. Wow. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. For some reason, no. What size are these guys? 14. Interesting. Okay, that's odd. But that's what it is. Okay. Come on. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get into this back one first. Get the socket on there good. Can't see what's happening here. Alright, got that one out. That was really in there. I might have to grab a magnet for that because that's decided to go for a trip on the way. Must be pretty corroded. Alright, now the last one that we're on here, we're going to have to make sure we support it because it's going to come loose. So I'm going to go under here, make sure it's not going to interfere with anything. Grab a hold of the strut, so it's going to fall when I let go. Okay, that aside. All I'm doing is walking this out of here now. Try it, Tim. Get my air tool out of the way. They're a little heavy, and the baby is born. All right. Get your new quick strut. Sit right here so you guys. Grab a magnet for that. One of the bolts just got underneath this cowl here, so there we go, I got it out. Alright, spin these out. Make sure we have the right socket too for them. Double check you guys, make sure you're still in view here in just a minute. Oh, those are long. So the new ones are 15s. Could be different on yours. It all depends on what it comes with, I guess. Alright, so you want to have at least one of these ready to go. And then let me make sure you guys are in a good frame of view here. It looks like you are. So I'm going to go from underneath and walk this assembly up. And I'm going to try to align this little dowel here into the hole that you'll see there. So I'll have a bolt right there ready to go. Make sure it's facing the correct direction, the strut, which it is. Go ahead in here. Try to walk this up in here. Okay, now I got it up through there. I'm going to go ahead and try to get one of these started to hold it. At least a couple of them if I can. This one might be a little trickier. Okay, beautiful. So now, I'm going to put my 15 on there because apparently, like I said, the new ones come with a 15. The other ones were aftermarket, so it's hard to say what size the originals were. I'm just going to use this to pull the strut up. Lift up on it. There we go. I can pull this one up. Come on. Okay. Now this other one here goes in behind this little thing here. You always want to start these from hand. You don't really want to over tighten these either. I mean, you want them tight, but you got to be careful because this is just going into really cheap threads. I'm just running them down and stopping, so. Okay, and what I'll do is I'm going to use a hand tool to make sure these are tight. And they are. Sure, there's a torque spec, but I always say common sense gets you pretty far in life. Okay, bring back my socket. All right, you're pretty much done here. Put this little cap on here if you like that. Now we just got to go back down to the bottom. So let me get cleaned up and I'll take you down to the bottom. Okay, we're back down at the bottom now. Go ahead. Try to get this all back into place now. There we go. Sometimes you have to turn the strut a little bit too. There we go. You just got to be a little bit tough with it. All you gotta do is kind of push down a little bit here. There we go. I will put some thread lock on these because it does require it. Okay. So they do have like an adjustment on here. So these bolts aren't really adjustable for alignment. However, the aftermarket world, for whatever reason, they put an elongated hole here so you can take and lean your in and out. Guess that's for your camber if you need to adjust it. What I always do is push it all the way in and then tighten them so that it's all the way at the front of the hole. Because if you leave them out like this, your tire will ride like this and it'll wear it out. So let me get some thread lock and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back, guys. Oh, I just sat on something. Oh, the old strut. Just got some cheap thread lock from the auto parts here. So I need to find my hammer. Go ahead and just beat these in like that. Typically they'll pull in anyway on their own. Okay, I'm gonna put it inside these nuts. A little bit on them. Sorry, a little out of breath today. Put some on these threads here. Put some on the threads of the other nut. And these usually don't walk out, but just in case. Had it on there from the factory, you know. Let's go ahead and tighten up the top. Get my 24 here. Like I said, these will pull right back in. As far as you don't have to tap them all the way in once you get the impact on them. Or even if you crank them too. Let's get that back in here. Yeah, kind of hot today. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to push in on this one. Okay, do the top one now. And if you're asking, there is a torquing spec on these. Do I know what it is? Not a clue. Look it up if you're concerned about it. That's what I would suggest. And I'm just going to double check these here real quick. I got to stand up to get some strength here, guys. Just want to make sure they're good and tight. And they are. Good enough. Okay, so now I'm going to pause you. I'm going to go look for a replacement bolt for that other side that I broke off earlier, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I think I found a bolt that'll work here. So let me switch back over to the 10 here. And the problem with these, for some reason, they these brackets they don't fit, and I don't know why on these new ones, on these new struts. It's the second time I've run into this, so we'll see what happens here. Might have to bang that bracket. It's the second set of aftermarket struts that I've done on these recently that I've had this problem where this bracket doesn't quite whoops, fit. Okay, on the new one. So let's just see if we can just run it in. Okay, I mean that should be perfectly fine. I mean that's absolutely not going to go anywhere. Let me try that with a socket wrench, make sure it feels okay. Alright, yeah, so that's not going to go anywhere. So for whatever reason, this is supposed to kind of loop over this, but the holes are drilled back too far. I've been running into this on, this is, like I said, the second pair I've had this happen on. So all right, let me figure out what I did with that nut for the other side. So I could probably, oh, found it. Thought I lost it. All right, and this is for the ABS bracket. I suspect it's going to be the same problem. And it's kind of self-tapping when these go in, so yeah, I don't know why they do that. It's really bizarre to me. I know. Do that to bend it a little bit, so hopefully that'll get me in there. Okay, this is awful. I don't know why they don't drill these in the right spot. It's really strange, really strange. again. I found that using the air tool without having to bend it too much just works. All right, let's hopefully not knock you over with the hose here. All right, so let's kind of get that lined up there. Okay, see, that's not really gonna work, so let's try to do this. No, I don't think this screw is gonna work like that. So let me do this. Let me try to beat this flat here. I'll just use the knuckle here. This is the problem with aftermarket stuff. You always run into this. Okay, so that's flat now. Now I should be able to get it in there now without any problems. Okay, and then I can just bend it back a little bit just to give it that extra little support. Okay, and I'll make sure it's tight by using a socket here. Just make sure, so you don't want to over tighten these. Okay, double check this side. Should be good. That should be good. Okay. And then if you feel inclined, you can bend it back. If you feel inclined. Make sure this is tight now. Yeah, so that's not going to go anywhere. And that's literally just holding these sensor things. Reclipping the sensor here back on here. Gotta make sure that's on there good. Okay. Nice and straight. These are tight, these are tight, this is tight. Nothing, everything else looks pretty good. Good idea to check your brake pads while you're in there, which those look to be good. All right, and that is your quick strut there installed. So that's pretty much all it's to it. You're gonna put your wheel back on. Tighten your lug nuts to factory specs. Go for a drive, and then I'd highly recommend getting a four-wheel alignment. So I'm not gonna show you how to put the tire on, because if you know how to take the tire off, it's just the reverse. So I thank you guys for watching. I hope this quick little tutorial video helps somebody out and helps them figure out how to put their quick struts on. I'm sure there's better videos out there, but this one at least give you the idea and hopefully give you some quick access to some knowledge. So thanks for watching. Take care, guys.